down with the stereotypes. Who says you can't start an adventure in a proper way, right? Well, I know what you think. What the heck? Who are these wild ladies who start their bikepacking trip by clinking a homemade schnapps? But wait, these are sehr schön Chicas aus Deutschland. Jacqueline, Emily, Rebecca, Connie, Inge, Wipke, Julia and Franzi, who went on the ride beyond stereotypes to prove you were wrong about women bikepacking all along. You don't believe? Watch this! Their adventure started in Mojstrana, in the northwest of Slovenia. They climbed up to Vršič Pass and enjoyed a day in the Trenta Valley, moving south the day after to visit Karst, then rode towards the sea, briefly waved at Trieste, and after 3 days on a bike reached the seaside town of Piran. But let's hop back to Mojstrana, shall we? After a sip or two of schnapps I already told you about, and preparing the bikes the night before, on the 29th of June, after a hearty breakfast, the girls set out on their way. Some say that Vršič is easier to conquer from the side of Kranjska Gora, which might actually be true, but our ladies failed to even master the name of this beautiful mountain pass.
Vršič? Vršič? Vršič.
No.
No?
Vršič.
Vršič? No.
In addition, they had to triumph over 24 turns, huffing and puffing, imaginably with some F words in their minds, but all the while they couldn't resist seeing the magnificent hidden maiden that kept a watchful eye on them from high above and the breathtaking scenery all around. It might have been wiser for them to stop for a hefty lunch and recharge their batteries, but no, we ain't hungry, they said. Instead, the girls bravely sped down from the pass at 60 kilometers per hour and swiftly plunged into the Trenta Valley. Nuts, fruits and chocolates helped keep up their energy levels and gave them enough power to take some more selfies, cross wooden bridges, taste the dust of several gravel roads, and then finally, in the late afternoon, to arrive to the campsite in Kobarid, all sweaty, a bit tired, and of course completely famished. Lucky for them, they met a group of incredibly nice avid kayakers who bought an enormous amount of meat. While they got the fire going, the ladies put together a huge and super fresh mouth-watering salad. Once the tents were set up and the sweat of the first day was washed off of them, our girls sat around the fire, devoured a couple of kilograms of meat, and then washed it all down with a well-deserved beer in a manly fashion. The night was nice and they all slept like babies. The crisp morning was marked by preparation for a new day. A well-known Slovenian kayaker showed them the paths on which to continue their way, revealed a couple of new pleasant dirt roads, and they were off again. Enchanted with the landscape around them, they followed the river flow of Soča. They couldn't stop admiring the beauty of the Soča river and claimed even that at some point it seemed like a lake. Have they ever seen a lake? Anyway, Soča really is gorgeous, but they probably forgot about it when they were caught in the middle of a refreshing summer storm.
We were just riding the bikes and then suddenly a thunderstorm turned up. We were lucky to find this shelter we're standing under, and now we have a brief sit down until we want to start again and just see if the weather turns out better.
I guess they were relieved since they didn't have to ride their bikes in the rain. They quickly packed their windbreakers and continued their ride towards Karst, magnificently batting in the sun at the lower part of the valley. Since they haven't stopped for a long time, believe it or not, they took a short break and marveled at the Sulcan Bridge, which is known to be the largest stone arch in the world. Nova Gorica was a little less interesting for our wilderness enthusiasts, so they quickly traded the short city streets for a joyride across hills surrounded by vineyards. They reached their goal for the second day late in the afternoon. They set up the tents and just enjoyed the rest of the afternoon. This time they cooked their own dinner. In fact, a very delicious one. Pasta with instant sauce, and after dinner they talked into the night with a glass of homemade wine by their side. On the last day, they had to cover the longest distance to reach their goal, the seaside city of Piran and deep in the sea. With somewhat aching buttocks, but with elation, they started on a 107-kilometer-long journey. Their path led them through karstic villages, fun country roads, and over charming rolling hills. Ooh, and had been hurt every now and then, but they took it pretty good, even when one of them fell pretty badly.
If you ride uphill and the ground is loose and stony, it happens sometimes that you lose control and then you fall in slow motion. I always do that. I fall in slow motion.
Oh, don't you cry, Missy. It will all be okay until the next bikepacking, and it surely will be before marriage. You see, these girls are a real deal. They can climb up no matter what, they descend fast, they don't mind the muddy road, and they would die for a romantic lunch in the middle of nowhere. They know how to get dressed while riding a bike, so you don't have to stop too often. And they have no problem with doing number 2 in the wild. So what else can you wish for? Let's get back on track. At the moment they're speeding up downhill Parenzana and racing through tunnels. Another photo memory is a must, of course, but the view of Trieste is pretty boring and cloudy. One wave to Italy, and they are cycling down the last part before the finish line. And now, finally at the finish line. Look how proud they are to have arrived in Piran. Sweaty and dirty, but look at these smiles. Oh, an ice cream. Wait, back to Jacqueline. This is one hell of an ice cream eater. She polished off 6 whole well-deserved scoops and finished her adventure in the most proper way. Well, almost the most proper. And that's it! We came to the end of our almost 300 kilometers long, thrilling and unforgettable journey on which numerous stereotypes were torn down. But there's only one thing left to say. This is a true evidence that ladies can achieve anything they set their minds to.